Tired of feeling overwhelmed and taken advantage of? The audiobook, How to Set Boundaries, Learn to Say No and Stop People Pleasing, is your roadmap to reclaiming your life. You'll learn to say no confidently, assert yourself, and stop people pleasing for good. Discover practical strategies to set and maintain healthy boundaries in all relationships. Don't miss out on the peace, respect, and fulfillment that come from living authentically. It's time to prioritize your well-being and unlock your true potential. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1: The Power of Choice. Every day, we make countless decisions that shape our lives. From the moment we wake up to the time we go to sleep, our choices define our experiences, relationships, and ultimately our happiness. Yet how often do we pause to consider the profound impact these choices have on our personal boundaries and overall well-being? The power of choice is a fundamental aspect of human existence, but it's one that many of us overlook or take for granted. We often feel swept along by the currents of life, reacting to circumstances rather than actively shaping our experiences. However, by recognizing and harnessing the power of choice, we can take control of our lives, set meaningful boundaries, and create a path that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. This chapter introduces you to the transformative concept of choice in setting boundaries. We'll explore how making deliberate decisions about your personal limits can align your life with your core values and significantly enhance your control over your personal happiness. By understanding the principles of choice theory and learning to make conscious decisions, you'll lay the foundation for a more fulfilling and authentic life. Consider for a moment the last time you felt truly in control of your life. Perhaps it was when you stood up for yourself in a difficult situation, or when you pursued a goal that others doubted. These moments of empowerment often stem from a conscious choice to honor your own needs and values. Now, imagine having that sense of control and authenticity in all aspects of your life. This is the potential that lies within the power of choice. As we delve into this chapter, you'll begin to recognize the significance of setting personal boundaries. You'll understand how your choices directly impact your happiness and relationships, and you'll start the crucial process of identifying your core values and personal limits. These initial steps are the building blocks for a life of greater autonomy and fulfillment. But the journey doesn't end there. Over time, as you continue to apply the principles you'll learn in this book, you'll experience a profound shift in your life. You'll find yourself with increased autonomy and control, making decisions that strongly align with your values. This alignment will lead to enhanced fulfillment of your psychological needs and overall well-being. To embark on this transformative journey, we'll focus on 3 critical steps: understanding the principles of choice theory, identifying and clarifying your personal values, and making deliberate choices that align with your boundaries. These steps are carefully ordered to establish a solid foundation of self-awareness before you begin the process of boundary setting. By ensuring that your choices are value-driven, you'll be better prepared to live authentically and face the challenges that come with setting and maintaining boundaries. Let's begin by exploring the concept of personal agency. This is the belief that you have the capacity to influence your own thoughts and behavior, and by extension, your life circumstances. Personal agency is at the heart of making empowered choices. When you recognize your ability to shape your life, you move from being a passive recipient of circumstances to an active creator of your experiences. The impact of choices on life direction cannot be overstated. Every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to the overall trajectory of your life. From the relationships you nurture to the career path you pursue, your choices accumulate to create your unique life story. By becoming more conscious of these choices, You gain the power to steer your life in the direction you truly desire. To fully grasp the power of choice, we need to delve into choice theory, a psychological model developed by William Glasser. This theory posits that all human behavior is driven by internal choices rather than external circumstances. At its core, choice theory suggests that we are not victims of our environment or past experiences, but active agents capable of choosing our responses to life's situations. Choice theory identifies 5 basic needs that drive human behavior: survival, love and belonging, power, freedom, and fun. These needs are universal, but the way we prioritize and satisfy them is unique to each individual. Understanding these needs and how they influence your behavior is crucial in making choices that truly serve your well-being. One of the key distinctions in choice theory is between internal and external control. External control psychology, which is prevalent in society, suggests that our behavior is primarily influenced by outside forces. In contrast, choice theory emphasizes internal control, the idea that we have the power to choose our responses regardless of external circumstances. Shifting your focus from external to internal control is a powerful step towards empowerment. It means recognizing that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control your response. This shift in perspective is liberating, as it places the power back in your hands. As you begin to embrace the power of choice, it's essential to align your choices with your personal values. Your values are the guiding principles that define what's most important to you in life. They serve as a compass, helping you navigate complex decisions and stay true to yourself. Identifying your core values is a crucial step in this process. It involves deep self-reflection and honesty about what truly matters to you. Are you driven by creativity, integrity, adventure, or perhaps family? Understanding your values will help you make choices that resonate with your authentic self. Once you've identified your values, the next step is to make choices that reflect your true self. This means being authentic in your daily actions and decisions, even when it's challenging. It also involves overcoming external influences and expectations that may not align with your values. Making choices that align with your values isn't always easy. You may face fear, uncertainty, or resistance from others. Overcoming the fear of making choices is a common hurdle. Many people struggle with analysis paralysis, the tendency to overthink decisions to the point of inaction. Building confidence in your decision-making abilities is key to overcoming this fear. Embracing responsibility for your life is another crucial aspect of empowered decision-making. This means accepting the outcomes of your choices, both positive and negative. It also involves learning from mistakes and using them as opportunities for growth rather than sources of regret. As we near the end of this chapter, it's important to understand how choice relates to boundaries. Boundaries are, at their core, a choice. They are decisions you make about what you will and won't accept in your life, how you'll allow others to treat you, and how you'll spend your time and energy. By recognizing that boundaries are a choice, you empower yourself to set and maintain them effectively. Setting boundaries is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of self-discovery and assertion. It requires a shift in mindset, moving from a reactive stance to a proactive one. As you prepare for this journey, consider the goals you have for your personal growth. What areas of your life do you want to improve? What relationships need clearer boundaries? The path ahead may seem challenging, but remember that every step you take towards setting healthy boundaries is a step towards a more fulfilling life. You have the power to shape your experiences, your relationships, and ultimately your happiness. The journey begins with a choice, your choice. As we move forward, we'll explore practical strategies for identifying your values, setting effective boundaries, and communicating your needs assertively. Each chapter will build upon the foundation laid here, equipping you with the tools and knowledge to create a life that truly reflects your authentic self. The power of choice is yours. How will you use it to transform your life and relationships? The journey to self-empowerment and fulfilling relationships awaits, and it all begins with the choices you make today. Before we continue, Make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2: Boundary Basics. Have you ever felt like your life was a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly in a sea of other people's expectations and demands? Or perhaps you've experienced that nagging feeling of being stretched too thin, unable to say no, even when every fiber of your being is screaming for respite. If these scenarios resonate with you, you're not alone. Many of us navigate life without a clear understanding of one of the most fundamental aspects of personal well-being: boundaries. Boundaries. The word itself might evoke images of fences or walls, rigid structures designed to keep others out. But in the realm of personal development and relationships, boundaries are far more nuanced and dynamic. They're not about isolation or selfishness. Rather, they're the invisible lines that define where you end and others begin. They're the guardians of your personal space, your emotions, and your identity. As we embark on this exploration of boundary basics, prepare to uncover the hidden power that lies within these personal limits. You'll discover how boundaries are not just about saying no, but about saying yes to yourself and your well-being. This journey will reveal the multifaceted nature of boundaries and how they interweave with every aspect of your life, from your closest relationships to your interactions with strangers. But why are boundaries so important? At their core, boundaries serve as the foundation for a strong sense of self and identity. They're like the roots of a tree, anchoring you firmly in your values and beliefs, allowing you to withstand the storms of life without losing yourself. When you have clear boundaries, you're better equipped to navigate the complexities of relationships, work, and personal growth. Moreover, boundaries act as protective shields for your mental and emotional well-being. They prevent the erosion of your self-esteem by ensuring that your needs and limits are respected. Think of boundaries as the immune system of your psyche, warding off the harmful effects of overextension, manipulation, and disrespect. Perhaps most surprisingly, well-defined boundaries actually enhance your relationships. They create a framework of mutual respect and clear expectations, fostering deeper connections built on honesty and authenticity. When both parties in a relationship understand and respect each other's boundaries, it paves the way for trust and genuine intimacy. But what exactly are boundaries? At their simplest, boundaries are personal limits that define how you want to be treated, what you're comfortable with, and how you'll respond when those limits are tested. They're not rigid rules set in stone, but flexible guidelines that evolve as you grow and your circumstances change. It's crucial to understand that boundaries are not about controlling others or being selfish. This is one of the most common misconceptions that holds people back from setting healthy limits. Boundaries are about taking responsibility for your own actions and emotions, not about manipulating or restricting others. They're a form of self-care, not selfishness. Another myth that needs debunking is the idea that having strong boundaries means you're closed off or unfriendly. In reality, clear boundaries allow for more authentic connections. When you're secure in your limits, you can be more open and vulnerable in appropriate situations, leading to deeper and more meaningful relationships. As we delve deeper into the concept of boundaries, it's important to recognize that they come in various forms. Physical boundaries are perhaps the most obvious. These relate to your personal space, your body, and your physical well-being. They dictate how close you're comfortable with others being, what kind of touch is acceptable, and how you protect your physical health. Emotional boundaries, on the other hand, are less visible but equally crucial. They involve managing your emotional energy and separating your feelings from those of others. Strong emotional boundaries allow you to empathize without taking on others' emotional burdens as your own. They help you maintain a sense of self even in emotionally charged situations. Mental boundaries pertain to your thoughts, values, and opinions. They involve respecting your own beliefs while also respecting those of others, even when they differ. Mental boundaries also encompass intellectual property, recognizing and protecting your ideas and creations. Material boundaries relate to your possessions and resources. They govern how you share or don't share your belongings, money, and other material assets. Clear material boundaries help prevent feelings of resentment that can arise from unclear expectations around lending and borrowing. Time boundaries are becoming increasingly important in our fast-paced, always connected world. They involve prioritizing your time and learning to say no to commitments that don't align with your goals or values. Strong time boundaries allow you to focus on what truly matters to you, rather than being pulled in countless directions by others' demands. As you begin to explore these different types of boundaries, you might wonder how to identify your own personal limits. This is where self-reflection becomes crucial. One effective technique is journaling. Set aside time to write about situations where you felt uncomfortable, stressed, or resentful. Often, these feelings are indicators that a boundary has been crossed. Reflecting on past experiences can also provide valuable insights. Think about times when you felt most at peace and in control, as well as times when you felt overwhelmed or taken advantage of. What were the circumstances in each situation? What was different about how you or others behaved? It's also important to learn to recognize the signs of boundary violations. These can manifest as physical symptoms like tension headaches or a knot in your stomach. Emotional signs might include feeling angry, anxious, or guilty for no apparent reason. Pay attention to patterns in your relationships and interactions. Do certain people or situations consistently leave you feeling drained or upset? Understanding the psychology behind boundaries can provide a deeper appreciation for their importance. Personal boundary theory suggests that boundaries are essential for defining our identity and maintaining our psychological integrity. They help us differentiate between our own thoughts, feelings, and needs and those of others. There's a strong link between boundaries and self-esteem. When we have clear, healthy boundaries, we're better able to assert our needs and values, leading to increased self-respect and confidence. Conversely, poor boundaries can lead to a blurred sense of self and diminished self-worth. From a mental health perspective, boundaries play a crucial role in preventing burnout and resentment. They allow us to say no to excessive demands on our time and energy, promoting better self-care and overall well-being. By setting clear limits, we can engage more fully in the activities and relationships we choose to prioritize, leading to greater satisfaction and fulfillment. As you prepare to set and maintain boundaries, it's important to be aware of potential challenges. Fear of rejection or conflict is a common obstacle. Many people worry that setting boundaries will push others away or lead to confrontations. Guilt and societal pressures can also make it difficult to prioritize your own needs and limits. Overcoming these challenges often requires a shift in mindset. Adopting a growth mindset, the belief that you can develop and improve your abilities, can help you view boundary setting as a skill to be learned rather than an innate trait. Embracing assertiveness as a positive quality rather than seeing it as aggression or selfishness is also key to effective boundary setting. To help you put these concepts into practice, consider trying some practical exercises. Start by making a list of your personal boundaries in different areas of your life. Be specific about what you're comfortable with and what crosses the line for you. This exercise can help clarify your limits and make it easier to communicate them to others. Reflection journaling can be a powerful tool for exploring your feelings about boundaries. Set aside time to write about situations where you feel your boundaries are being respected or violated. What emotions come up? How do you typically respond? This can help you identify patterns and areas for improvement. Role-playing scenarios can be particularly helpful in preparing for boundary-setting conversations. Practice expressing your limits clearly and calmly, perhaps with a trusted friend or family member. This can help build your confidence and refine your communication skills. As you embark on this journey of setting and maintaining boundaries, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be simply becoming more aware of your personal limits and taking the first steps towards setting boundaries. This awareness alone can be transformative, opening your eyes to areas of your life where you've been compromising your well-being. An excellent outcome would be developing a clear understanding and articulation of your personal boundaries in various areas of your life. This might involve being able to confidently express your limits to others and consistently enforcing them in your daily interactions. The best possible outcome is not just establishing boundaries, but maintaining them confidently over time. This leads to improved self-esteem and healthier relationships across all areas of your life. You might find yourself feeling more in control, less stressed, and more fulfilled in your interactions with others. Of course, the path to healthy boundaries isn't always smooth. Some common pitfalls include setting overly rigid boundaries that lead to isolation. The key is to find a balance between self-protection and flexibility. Boundaries should be firm enough to safeguard your well-being, but flexible enough to allow for growth and meaningful connections. Another challenge is difficulty in identifying appropriate boundaries. If you're struggling with this, additional self-reflection techniques or seeking feedback from trusted friends or a therapist can be helpful. Remember, boundary setting is a skill that improves with practice and self-awareness. Resistance from others is also a common hurdle. Some people in your life may be accustomed to your previous lack of boundaries and may push back when you start to assert yourself. Developing strategies to handle this pushback while reinforcing your boundaries is crucial for long-term success. As we conclude this exploration of boundary basics, you might feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Setting boundaries is a powerful act of self-care and self-respect, but it can also feel challenging, especially at first. Remember that like any skill, it takes practice and patience to master. The journey you're embarking on is one of self-discovery and empowerment. By understanding and implementing healthy boundaries, you're taking a significant step towards a more authentic and fulfilling life. You're laying the groundwork for stronger relationships, improved mental health, and a clearer sense of self. But this is just the beginning. As you move forward, you'll discover that setting boundaries is intimately connected with how you communicate your needs and desires to others. The next chapter will delve into a crucial skill that complements boundary setting perfectly. It's a tool that, when mastered, can transform your interactions and ensure your boundaries are not just set, but respected. Are you ready to unlock the power of your voice? Chapter 3: Assertive Communication. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you knew exactly what you wanted to say, but the words seemed to evaporate the moment you opened your mouth? Or perhaps you've experienced the frustration of trying to express your needs only to have them misunderstood or dismissed. If so, you're not alone. Many of us struggle with effectively communicating our thoughts, feelings, and boundaries. But what if there was a way to express yourself clearly, confidently, and respectfully, even in challenging situations? Enter the world of assertive communication. It's a skill that might sound simple on the surface, but its mastery can transform your interactions, relationships, and even your sense of self. Assertive communication is like a bridge. It connects your inner world of thoughts and feelings with the external world of relationships and interactions. But unlike a rigid, unyielding structure, this bridge is flexible, adaptable, and strong enough to withstand the currents of conflict and misunderstanding. As we embark on this exploration of assertive communication, you'll discover that it's more than just a way of speaking. It's a mindset, a set of skills, and a powerful tool for enforcing your boundaries and building healthier relationships. But before we dive into the specifics, let's consider why this skill is so crucial. Imagine for a moment that your boundaries are like a beautiful garden you've carefully cultivated. You've invested time and effort in planting seeds of self-respect, nurturing saplings of personal values, and pruning away habits that no longer serve you. But without effective communication, it's as if you've surrounded this garden with an invisible fence. Others may trample your carefully tended plants simply because they can't see the boundaries you've set. Assertive communication is the key to making your boundaries visible and respected. It's essential for expressing your limits clearly and effectively, preventing misunderstandings that can lead to conflict. Moreover, it's the foundation upon which healthier, more respectful relationships are built. When you communicate assertively, you're not just expressing your needs, you're inviting others into a dialogue based on mutual understanding and respect. To truly grasp the power of assertive communication, it's helpful to understand the spectrum of communication styles. Picture a continuum with passivity on one end and aggression on the other. Passive communication often stems from a desire to please others or avoid conflict. It's characterized by a tendency to put others' needs before your own, often at the expense of your own well-being. While it might seem harmonious on the surface, passive communication can lead to resentment, misunderstandings, and an erosion of personal boundaries. On the other end of the spectrum, aggressive communication prioritizes one's own needs at the expense of others. It's often characterized by a forceful, sometimes hostile approach that can leave others feeling attacked or disrespected. While it might seem effective in the short term, aggressive communication often damages relationships and creates a cycle of conflict. Somewhere between these two extremes lies passive-aggressive communication. This subtle, indirect style often involves expressing negative feelings through actions rather than words. It might manifest as sarcasm, subtle digs, or a disconnect between words and actions. Passive-aggressive communication can be particularly confusing and damaging to relationships, as it creates an atmosphere of uncertainty and mistrust. Assertive communication, in contrast, strikes a balance between these styles. It involves expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs clearly and directly, while also respecting the rights and feelings of others. When you communicate assertively, you're not just stating your position, you're opening the door to genuine dialogue and mutual understanding. But what exactly are the principles that underpin assertive communication? At its core, assertiveness is rooted in a fundamental understanding of personal rights and responsibilities. It's about recognizing that you have the right to express your thoughts and feelings, to say no without guilt, and to be treated with respect. At the same time, it acknowledges that others have these same rights. This balance between rights and responsibilities is crucial. Assertiveness isn't about getting your way at all costs. It's about expressing your needs while being open to negotiation and compromise. It's a dance of give and take, where both partners' needs are acknowledged and respected. One of the most powerful techniques in assertive communication is the use of I statements. These simple yet effective phrases allow you to express your feelings and needs without blaming or attacking others. Instead of saying, "You always interrupt me," an assertive communicator might say, "I feel frustrated when I'm interrupted because I lose my train of thought." The formula for an effective I statement is simple. I feel emotion when specific situation because reason. This approach focuses on your experience rather than accusing the other person, making it more likely that they'll listen without becoming defensive. Expressing thoughts and feelings clearly is another crucial aspect of assertive communication. This involves being direct and honest about your needs and opinions while avoiding ambiguity or hints. It might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to a more passive style, but clarity is key to preventing misunderstandings and ensuring your needs are met. Setting clear expectations is equally important. This means articulating your needs precisely and ensuring that others understand what you're asking for. It's not enough to hint or hope that others will figure out what you want. Assertive communication involves being specific about your requests and boundaries. But assertive communication isn't just about the words you say. Nonverbal cues play a huge role in how your message is received. Your body language, tone of voice, and eye contact can either reinforce or undermine your verbal message. Consider your posture and gestures. Standing or sitting up straight, with your shoulders back and your head held high, conveys confidence and self-assurance. Open gestures, like uncrossed arms and palms facing upward, signal openness and receptivity. These nonverbal cues can make your assertive statements more effective and believable. Your tone of voice is another powerful tool. The pitch, volume, and pace of your speech can dramatically affect how your message is perceived. A calm, steady tone conveys confidence and control, even in challenging situations. Practice modulating your voice to match the content of your message. Firm but not aggressive, clear but not loud. Eye contact is a particularly potent form of nonverbal communication. In many cultures, direct eye contact is associated with honesty and confidence. However, it's important to be aware of cultural differences. In some cultures, prolonged eye contact can be seen as aggressive or disrespectful. The key is to find a balance that feels comfortable and appropriate for the situation. While expressing yourself clearly is crucial, effective communication is a two-way street. That's where active listening comes in. Active listening involves fully focusing on the speaker, avoiding premature judgments, and seeking to understand their perspective. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about comprehending the full message, including the emotions and intentions behind it. One powerful technique in active listening is reflective listening. This involves paraphrasing and summarizing what the other person has said to ensure you've understood correctly. It might sound something like, "So what I'm hearing is." This not only helps clarify any misunderstandings, but also shows the speaker that you're genuinely engaged in the conversation. Responding appropriately is the final piece of the active listening puzzle. This might involve providing feedback, asking clarifying questions, or simply acknowledging the speaker's feelings. The goal is to create a dialogue where both parties feel heard and understood. Now that we've explored the components of assertive communication, you might be wondering how to put these skills into practice. Like any skill, assertive communication improves with practice. Start by identifying common situations in your life where you struggle to communicate assertively. These might be workplace interactions, social engagements, or conversations with family members. Role-playing exercises can be incredibly helpful in building your confidence and refining your technique. Practice crafting I statements, expressing your thoughts clearly, and setting expectations. You might feel a bit silly at first, but remember, it's better to stumble over your words in practice than in a real-life situation. Consider trying some practical exercises to reinforce these skills. Spend some time crafting I statements for different scenarios you commonly encounter. Practice mirror exercises to observe and improve your nonverbal cues. If possible, engage in active listening drills with a partner to enhance your listening skills. As you embark on this journey of assertive communication, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be simply increasing your awareness of different communication styles and beginning to use assertive techniques in low-stakes situations. You might find yourself more conscious of your word choice and body language, even if you don't always get it right. An excellent outcome would involve consistently applying assertive communication techniques in your daily interactions. You might notice that you're able to express your needs more clearly, handle conflicts more effectively, and feel more confident in various social situations. The best possible outcome is mastery of assertive communication, leading to stronger relationships and more effective boundary enforcement. You might find that your personal and professional relationships become more satisfying, conflicts are resolved more easily, and you feel a greater sense of control and authenticity in your interactions. Of course, the path to assertive communication isn't always smooth. One common pitfall is the misinterpretation of assertiveness as aggression. If you find others reacting defensively to your newfound assertiveness, it might be worth examining your tone and body language. Remember, assertiveness is about being firm and clear, not forceful or intimidating. Maintaining assertiveness under pressure can also be challenging. In stressful situations, it's easy to fall back on old communication patterns. Stress management techniques and continued practice can help you stay assertive even when the stakes are high. On the flip side, Some people may overcompensate and become too aggressive in their pursuit of assertiveness. The key is to balance assertiveness with empathy, remembering that effective communication is about mutual understanding, not winning at all costs. As we conclude this exploration of assertive communication, you might feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Learning to communicate assertively is a journey, not a destination. It requires patience, practice, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. But the rewards, stronger relationships, clearer boundaries, and a greater sense of self-efficacy are well worth the effort. Remember, assertive communication is just one tool in your boundary-setting toolkit. As powerful as it is, there will be times when even the most assertive communication isn't enough. In the next chapter, we'll explore a skill that complements assertive communication perfectly, a skill that, when mastered, can help you maintain your boundaries even in the face of persistent pressure or manipulation. Are you ready to discover the power of 2 simple letters that can change your life? Chapter 4: How to Say No and Mean It. 2 letters. Just 2 simple letters that, when combined, form one of the most powerful words in the English language. A word that can protect your time, energy, and sanity. A word that can preserve your integrity and uphold your boundaries. Yet for many of us, it's also one of the most difficult words to utter. Have you ever found yourself agreeing to something you didn't want to do simply because you couldn't bring yourself to decline? Or perhaps you've said yes to a request only to be consumed by regret and resentment later? If so, you're not alone. The ability to say no confidently and without guilt is a skill that many struggle with, but it's also one that can dramatically improve the quality of your life. As we embark on this exploration of the art of saying no, you'll discover that it's about much more than just refusing requests. It's about honoring your own needs, respecting your time and energy, and ultimately living a life that aligns with your values and priorities. But before we delve into the how, let's consider the why. Imagine for a moment that your time and energy are like a bank account. Every time you say yes to something, you're making a withdrawal. If you're not careful, you can quickly find yourself overdrawn, leading to stress, burnout, and a diminished quality of life. Learning to say no is like making regular deposits into this account, ensuring you always have enough resources for the things that truly matter to you. Moreover, the ability to say no is crucial for upholding your personal boundaries and priorities. It's a way of communicating to others and to yourself what you value and what you're willing to invest your time and energy in. When you can confidently decline requests that don't align with your goals or values, you're reinforcing your boundaries and teaching others to respect them. Perhaps surprisingly, learning to say no can actually foster respect from others. While it might seem counterintuitive, people often admire those who can clearly articulate their limits. It demonstrates self-respect and integrity, qualities that tend to command respect from others. But why is saying no so challenging for many of us? To understand this, we need to delve into the psychological barriers that often prevent us from declining requests. One of the most common is the fear of rejection. We're social creatures, hardwired to seek acceptance from our peers. Saying no can feel like risking that acceptance, triggering deep-seated fears of isolation or abandonment. Closely related to this is the desire to be liked. Many of us have internalized the belief that being agreeable and always saying yes is the key to winning friends and influencing people. We fear that saying no will make us appear selfish or unkind, damaging our relationships and social standing. Guilt and a sense of obligation can also play a significant role in our difficulty saying no. Cultural and familial expectations often instill in us a strong sense of duty to others, making it feel selfish or wrong to prioritize our own needs. This can be particularly challenging when dealing with requests from family members or close friends. Understanding these psychological barriers is the first step in overcoming them. It's important to recognize that these fears and feelings, while valid, are often based on faulty assumptions. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person, nor does it inevitably lead to rejection or damaged relationships. In fact, clear boundaries often lead to healthier, more respectful interactions. So how can we begin to say no confidently and effectively? One key strategy is to keep your responses simple and direct. There's often no need for lengthy explanations or justifications. A clear, polite, "No, I can't do that," can be more effective than a rambling excuse. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for your decisions. When appropriate, offering alternatives can be a helpful way to say no while still being supportive. If you can't fulfill a request, you might suggest other resources or individuals who could help. This approach allows you to maintain boundaries while still being helpful. Sometimes you might need more time to consider a request before giving a definitive answer. In these cases, delaying tactics can be useful. A simple, "let me think about it and get back to you," can prevent impulsive commitments and give you space to consider the request carefully. As important as the words you use is how you deliver them. Managing your tone and delivery is crucial when saying no. Aim to stay calm and polite, even if the other person becomes pushy or upset. Use courteous language, but be firm in your resolve. Remember, it's possible to be kind and respectful while still maintaining your boundaries. Handling pushback can be one of the most challenging aspects of saying no. Some people may not take your initial refusal seriously, or they might try to persuade you to change your mind. In these situations, it can be helpful to use the broken record technique, calmly restating your position without engaging in arguments or justifications. In some cases, you might need to outline consequences for repeated boundary violations. This doesn't mean making threats, but rather clearly communicating what will happen if your boundaries aren't respected. For instance, you might say, "If you continue to pressure me after I've said no, I'll need to end this conversation." Maintaining your position under pressure is a skill that improves with practice. Remember that you have the right to make decisions about your own time and energy. Stand firm in your decisions, and don't let others' reactions sway you from what you know is right for you. To help you put these strategies into practice, it can be helpful to have some scripts and templates ready. For professional settings, you might say something like, "I appreciate you thinking of me for this project, but my schedule is at capacity right now, and I can't take on any additional work." In personal relationships, you could say, "I value our friendship, but I'm not comfortable with that request." Remember, these are just starting points. It's important to personalize your responses to fit your own communication style and the specific situation. The goal is to be authentic in your communication while still maintaining your boundaries. Practical exercises can be invaluable in building your no muscles. Try setting aside time for no practice sessions where you rehearse saying no in various scenarios. This might feel awkward at first, but like any skill, it becomes more natural with practice. Self-reflection on past experiences can also be enlightening. Think about situations where you found it difficult to say no. What were the circumstances? What emotions came up for you? Understanding your patterns can help you prepare for future situations. Journaling about your internal reactions when saying no can also be a powerful tool. Pay attention to the feelings that arise: guilt, anxiety, relief, or a mix of emotions. This awareness can help you process these feelings and respond to them more effectively over time. As you embark on this journey of learning to say no, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be the ability to say no in low-stakes situations, perhaps declining an invitation to a social event you're not interested in, or saying no to a minor request at work. This is a significant step and worth celebrating. An excellent outcome would be the ability to confidently decline requests without experiencing overwhelming guilt or anxiety. You might find yourself able to say no to more significant commitments or requests from people you typically find it hard to refuse. The best possible outcome is mastery in saying no, being able to maintain your boundaries and prioritize your needs while still preserving positive relationships. This might look like effortlessly declining requests that don't align with your values or goals, and feeling confident and at peace with your decisions. Of course, the path to saying no effectively isn't always smooth. You might find yourself grappling with overwhelming guilt after saying no, especially at first. In these moments, practice self-compassion. Remind yourself that it's okay to prioritize your own needs and that saying no doesn't make you a bad person. Negative reactions from others can also be challenging to handle. Some people might express disappointment or even anger when you decline their requests. Remember that their reactions are their responsibility, not yours. Stay calm and firm in your position, and if necessary, remove yourself from the situation. Another common pitfall is relapsing into automatically saying yes, especially in stressful or pressured situations. Mindfulness practices can be helpful here, teaching you to pause and consider before responding. Even a brief moment of reflection can help you make more intentional decisions. As we conclude this exploration of saying no, you might feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Learning to say no confidently is a journey, one that requires patience and practice, but the rewards, more time and energy for what truly matters to you, stronger boundaries, and increased self-respect, are immeasurable. Remember, saying no is just one tool in your boundary-setting toolkit. As powerful as it is, there will be times when even a firm no isn't enough to deter persistent requests or manipulative behavior. In the next chapter, we'll explore a subtle yet insidious force that can undermine even the strongest boundaries. Are you ready to unmask the hidden influence that might be sabotaging your efforts to set and maintain healthy limits? Chapter 5. Managing Guilt Trips. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of unease wash over you, accompanied by a nagging sense that you've done something wrong? Perhaps you've experienced a sinking feeling in your stomach after declining a request, even when you knew it was the right decision for you. If these sensations sound familiar, you may have encountered one of the most subtle yet potent forms of emotional manipulation: the guilt trip. Guilt trips are like invisible strings, tugging at our emotions and threatening to unravel the boundaries we've worked so hard to establish. They can come from anyone, friends, family, colleagues, and often catch us off guard, leaving us feeling confused, conflicted, and questioning our own judgment. But what if you could learn to recognize these manipulative tactics for what they are? What if you could develop the skills to resist their pull and maintain your emotional independence? This chapter will equip you with the tools to do just that, empowering you to navigate the murky waters of guilt-inducing behaviors with confidence and clarity. Understanding and managing guilt trips is crucial for several reasons. First and foremost, it protects your emotional well-being. Constant exposure to guilt-inducing behaviors can erode your self-esteem, lead to anxiety, and even contribute to depression. By learning to recognize and resist these tactics, you're safeguarding your mental health. Moreover, managing guilt trips is essential for maintaining healthy relationships. When you can identify manipulative behaviors, you're better equipped to address them directly, fostering more honest and respectful interactions. This skill also strengthens your ability to uphold your boundaries, even under emotional pressure. But before we can effectively manage guilt trips, we need to learn how to recognize them. Guilt-inducing behaviors can be surprisingly diverse and often subtle. They might manifest as passive-aggressive comments, such as, "I guess I'll just have to do it myself," or emotional outbursts like, "After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me." Understanding your own emotional triggers is equally important. We all have vulnerabilities, perhaps a fear of disappointing others or a deep-seated need for approval. Manipulators often exploit these vulnerabilities, so identifying what affects you most can help you stay alert to potential manipulation. To truly grasp the dynamics at play in guilt trips, it's helpful to understand the concept of emotional manipulation. One useful model for understanding these interactions is the drama triangle, developed by Stephen Karpman. This model describes 3 roles that people often adopt in manipulative situations: the victim, the persecutor, and the rescuer. The victim position is characterized by feelings of helplessness and a belief that others are responsible for their problems. The persecutor criticizes and blames, while the rescuer rushes in to save the day, often at the expense of their own needs. In a guilt trip, the manipulator might switch between these roles, perhaps starting as a victim. "You never have time for me," before shifting to a persecutor. "You're so selfish." Understanding how guilt is used as a control mechanism can be eye-opening. Guilt is a powerful emotion that can override our logical thinking, making us more susceptible to manipulation. The person using guilt as a tool often has underlying motivations, perhaps a need for control, attention, or validation. By making you feel guilty, they hope to influence your behavior to meet their own needs. So how can we resist these manipulative tactics? One key strategy is maintaining emotional distance. This doesn't mean becoming cold or uncaring, but rather learning to detach yourself emotionally from the manipulator's attempts to push your buttons. Try to observe the situation objectively, as if you were watching it happen to someone else. Setting clear emotional boundaries is another crucial step. This involves protecting your feelings and avoiding getting entangled in others' issues. Remember, you're not responsible for managing other people's emotions or solving their problems. It's okay to empathize without taking on their emotional burden. When faced with a guilt trip, responding assertively can be powerful. Address the manipulative behavior directly, using I statements to express how their actions make you feel. For example, "I feel uncomfortable when you try to make me feel guilty for my decisions." Refuse to accept unwarranted guilt, reminding yourself that you have the right to make choices that align with your own needs and values. Responding effectively to guilt trips also involves acknowledging the other person's feelings without necessarily conceding to their demands. You can validate their emotions without agreeing with their perspective. For instance, "I understand you're disappointed, but I still need to stick to my decision." Consistency is key when reiterating your boundaries. Calmly restate your position, using clear and firm language. Avoid getting drawn into arguments or becoming defensive. Remember, you don't need to justify your boundaries or decisions to others. Building emotional resilience is crucial for long-term success in managing guilt trips. This involves developing your emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and manage your own emotions, as well as understand and influence the emotions of others. Pay attention to your emotional responses and practice regulating them in challenging situations. Mindfulness can be a powerful tool in this process. By staying present and grounded, you're less likely to get swept up in the emotional turbulence of a guilt trip. Simple techniques like deep breathing or focusing on your physical sensations can help you stay centered. Developing a strong support system is also invaluable. Connect with trusted friends, family members, or professionals who understand and respect your boundaries. Share your experiences and strategies with them, and don't hesitate to seek their support when facing challenging situations. To reinforce these skills, consider engaging in some practical exercises. Keep a log of interactions where you feel manipulated, noting the tactics used and your emotional responses. This can help you identify patterns and prepare for future situations. Practice mindfulness meditation regularly to strengthen your ability to stay grounded in emotionally charged situations. Even a few minutes of focused breathing each day can make a significant difference. Role-playing can be an effective way to practice your responses to guilt trips. Enlist a friend to play the role of the manipulator and practice delivering assertive, boundary-reinforcing responses. This can help you feel more prepared and confident when facing real-life situations. As you embark on this journey of managing guilt trips, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be simply recognizing when guilt is being used against you. This awareness alone can be empowering, allowing you to pause and consider your response rather than reacting automatically. An excellent outcome would involve successfully resisting guilt trips and maintaining your boundaries, even in challenging situations. You might find yourself able to calmly assert your position without being swayed by manipulative tactics. The best possible outcome is establishing relationships free from manipulation, leading to enhanced emotional well-being. This might involve having honest conversations with those who have used guilt trips in the past, setting clear expectations for future interactions, and potentially distancing yourself from persistently manipulative individuals. Of course, the path to managing guilt trips isn't always smooth. You might find yourself internalizing guilt despite being aware of the manipulation. In these moments, cognitive reframing techniques can be helpful. Challenge your guilty thoughts by asking yourself if they're based on facts or manipulated emotions. Remind yourself of your right to set boundaries and make decisions that align with your values. Sometimes, manipulative behavior might escalate when you start resisting guilt trips. In these cases, it's important to set even firmer boundaries and be prepared to enforce consequences. This might involve limiting contact with the person or ending conversations when manipulative tactics are used. In some instances, addressing manipulative behavior might lead to the loss of certain relationships. While this can be painful, it's important to evaluate the health of these relationships. Ask yourself if they're truly supportive and respectful of your boundaries. Sometimes, creating space for new, healthier connections is necessary for your emotional well-being. As we conclude this exploration of managing guilt trips, you might feel a mix of emotions, perhaps a sense of empowerment coupled with apprehension about applying these strategies in real life. Remember, learning to recognize and resist emotional manipulation is a process. Be patient with yourself as you practice these new skills. By equipping yourself with these tools to manage guilt trips, you're taking a significant step towards emotional freedom and healthier relationships. You're reclaiming your power to make decisions based on your own values and needs, rather than being swayed by manipulative tactics. But as you strengthen your defenses against guilt trips, you might find yourself facing a new challenge. What happens when the guilt you feel doesn't come from external manipulation, but from within? In the next chapter, we'll delve into a force that can be even more powerful than external guilt trips, a force that might be silently shaping your actions and decisions without you even realizing it. Are you ready to confront the hidden influence that could be holding you back from truly embracing your boundaries? Chapter 6: Boundary Maintenance. Imagine you've just built a beautiful garden. You've carefully selected each plant, nurtured the soil, and created a space that brings you joy and peace. But what happens after the initial work is done? Do you simply sit back and expect your garden to thrive indefinitely without further attention? Just as a garden requires ongoing care to flourish, the boundaries we set in our lives need regular maintenance to remain effective and relevant. This chapter is about the art and science of keeping your personal boundaries healthy, strong, and adaptable over time. You might be wondering why boundary maintenance is so crucial. After all, once you've set your boundaries, shouldn't that be enough? The truth is, boundaries are not static constructs. They're living, breathing aspects of our relationships and personal lives that require ongoing attention and care. Maintaining your boundaries ensures your long-term well-being and self-respect. It's a way of continually honoring your needs and values, even as life throws new challenges your way. Moreover, boundary maintenance allows you to adapt to life changes and evolving relationships. What worked for you in your 20s might not serve you in your 40s, and the boundaries you set with a new friend might need adjustment as the relationship deepens. Perhaps most importantly, consistent boundary maintenance prevents erosion over time. Without regular attention, even the strongest boundaries can gradually weaken, leaving you vulnerable to the very issues you sought to address by setting boundaries in the first place. To truly understand boundary maintenance, we need to grasp the dynamic nature of boundaries. Life is constantly changing, and our boundaries need to change with it. Major life events like starting a new job, entering or leaving a relationship, or having children often prompt a reevaluation of our boundaries. But even subtle shifts in our circumstances or personal growth can necessitate boundary adjustments. How do you know when your boundaries need adjustment? Pay attention to signs that your current boundaries might be outdated. Do you find yourself frequently feeling resentful or overwhelmed? Are you consistently sacrificing your own needs for others? These could be indicators that your boundaries need a review. One of the key challenges in boundary maintenance is finding the right balance between flexibility and rigidity. Boundaries that are too rigid can lead to isolation and missed opportunities for growth and connection. On the other hand, boundaries that are too flexible may not adequately protect your well-being. The goal is to adapt your boundaries as needed without compromising your core values. An essential aspect of boundary maintenance is monitoring for violations. This requires developing a keen awareness of both your internal state and external behaviors. Early warning signs of boundary violations often manifest as physical or emotional symptoms. You might experience tension headaches, a knot in your stomach, or feelings of anxiety or resentment. Behavioral red flags from others can also indicate boundary violations. These might include repeated requests that make you uncomfortable, disregard for your stated limits, or attempts to manipulate your emotions. Learning to recognize these signs early can prevent more serious boundary breaches down the line. Regular self-check-ins are a powerful tool for maintaining healthy boundaries. Set aside time periodically to reflect on your boundaries and how well they're serving you. Ask yourself questions like, are my current boundaries aligned with my values and goals? Do I feel respected in my relationships? Am I able to say no when I need to? These reflections can help you identify areas where your boundaries might need reinforcement or adjustment. Of course, even with the best maintenance, conflicts around boundaries are bound to arise. When they do, having effective conflict resolution strategies is crucial. One approach is collaborative problem solving, where you work with the other person to find a solution that respects both your boundaries and their needs. This often involves open communication, active listening, and a willingness to compromise where appropriate. When addressing conflicts, it's important to stay respectful and focus on the issues at hand rather than attacking the other person's character. Use I statements to express your feelings and needs, and be open to hearing the other person's perspective. Remember, the goal is not to win an argument, but to find a resolution that upholds your boundaries while preserving the relationship when possible. While addressing conflicts is important, strengthening supportive relationships is equally crucial for long-term boundary maintenance. Encourage mutual respect in your relationships by clearly setting expectations for interactions. Model the behavior you expect from others, demonstrating respect for their boundaries as well as your own. Building trust and understanding is a key component of supportive relationships. This involves open and honest communication about your needs and boundaries, as well as listening to and respecting the needs of others. Keeping your commitments and promises helps build trust, making it more likely that others will respect your boundaries in return. Consistency is key when it comes to reaffirming your boundaries. It's important to uphold your boundaries every time, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Sending mixed messages by enforcing boundaries inconsistently can lead to confusion and repeated violations. Sometimes, gentle reminders and prompts are necessary to reinforce boundaries over time. This might involve restating your limits or preferences in a calm, matter-of-fact way. As you encounter new situations or your circumstances change, you may need to adjust your boundary maintenance strategies accordingly. Despite our best efforts, setbacks in boundary maintenance are normal and to be expected. You might find yourself slipping back into old patterns or agreeing to things that violate your boundaries. When this happens, it's important to recognize the lapse without harsh self-judgment. Instead, view it as an opportunity to learn and strengthen your boundary-setting skills. Analyzing what went wrong can provide valuable insights for improving your boundary maintenance. Did you feel pressured in the moment? Were you unclear about your own limits? Understanding the factors that led to the setback can help you implement improvements and prevent similar situations in the future. To reinforce your boundary maintenance skills, consider engaging in some practical exercises. A boundary audit can be a helpful tool for evaluating your current boundaries in all areas of your life. Take stock of your physical, emotional, mental, and time boundaries, assessing how well they're serving you and identifying areas for improvement. Conflict resolution role-plays can be an effective way to practice handling boundary disputes. Enlist a friend or family member to help you act out challenging scenarios, allowing you to refine your communication skills and try out different strategies in a safe environment. Another useful exercise is relationship mapping. Visualize your support network and the boundaries you have in each relationship. This can help you identify areas where your boundaries are strong and where they might need reinforcement. It can also highlight relationships that consistently support your boundaries and those that might require more attention or reevaluation. As you embark on this journey of boundary maintenance, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be regularly reviewing and adjusting your boundaries as needed. This ongoing awareness and willingness to adapt is a significant step towards long-term boundary health. An excellent outcome would involve effectively managing conflicts while maintaining strong boundaries. You might find yourself able to navigate challenging situations with grace, upholding your limits while preserving important relationships. The best possible outcome is seamlessly integrating boundary maintenance into your daily life, leading to sustained well-being and healthy relationships. In this scenario, respecting your own boundaries and those of others becomes second nature, contributing to a life of authenticity, respect, and fulfillment. Of course, the path to effective boundary maintenance isn't always smooth. One common pitfall is neglecting boundary maintenance, which can lead to gradual erosion of your limits. To combat this, consider setting reminders or establishing accountability measures to ensure regular boundary check-ins. On the flip side, some people might become overly flexible in an attempt to be accommodating, resulting in compromised boundaries. If you find yourself in this situation, it's important to reassert your limits and get clear on your non-negotiables. Remember, healthy boundaries are not about being rigid or inflexible, but about honoring your core needs and values. Sometimes, changes in your boundaries can lead to strain in certain relationships. This is where open communication and empathy become crucial. Explain your need for adjusted boundaries, listen to the other person's concerns, and work together to find a new dynamic that respects both parties' needs. As we conclude this exploration of boundary maintenance, you might feel a mix of determination and perhaps a touch of overwhelm. Remember, maintaining healthy boundaries is an ongoing process, not a destination. Be patient with yourself as you navigate this journey, celebrating your progress along the way. By committing to ongoing boundary maintenance, you're investing in your long-term well-being and the health of your relationships. You're creating a life that consistently honors your needs, values, and personal growth. But as you become more adept at maintaining your boundaries, you might encounter a new challenge, one that comes not from external pressures, but from within. In the next chapter, we'll delve into a powerful force that can either be your greatest ally or your most formidable obstacle in boundary setting. It's a force that shapes your thoughts, influences your actions, and ultimately determines your success in maintaining healthy boundaries. Are you ready to confront the hidden beliefs that might be sabotaging your efforts and discover how to harness them for your benefit? Chapter 7. Overcoming people-pleasing. Have you ever found yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being wanted to scream no? Or perhaps you've bent over backwards to meet someone else's needs, only to realize you've completely neglected your own. If these scenarios sound familiar, you might be caught in the web of people-pleasing. People-pleasing. It sounds harmless enough, doesn't it? After all, what could be wrong with wanting to make others happy? But beneath this seemingly benign surface lies a pattern of behavior that can slowly erode your sense of self, leaving you feeling exhausted, resentful, and disconnected from your own needs and desires. In this chapter, we'll embark on a journey to unravel the complex tapestry of people-pleasing behavior. We'll explore its hidden roots, examine its far-reaching impacts, and most importantly, discover powerful strategies to break free from its grip. This isn't just about learning to say no more often. It's about reclaiming your personal autonomy, rediscovering your authentic self, and cultivating relationships built on mutual respect rather than obligation. But why is overcoming people-pleasing so crucial? At its core, this journey is about reclaiming your personal autonomy and authenticity. When you're constantly prioritizing others' needs and desires over your own, you lose touch with what truly matters to you. Your own dreams, goals, and even your sense of identity can become blurred or forgotten. Moreover, chronic people-pleasing can lead to significant stress and burnout. The constant effort to meet everyone else's expectations and keep everyone happy is exhausting. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it never feels like enough. Perhaps most surprisingly, overcoming people-pleasing can actually enhance your connections with others. When you're authentic in your interactions, expressing your true thoughts and feelings, you create the opportunity for genuine, deep relationships based on mutual understanding and respect. To begin this journey, we need to understand what people-pleasing behavior really looks like. It's not always as obvious as you might think. Sure, difficulty saying no is a classic sign, but people-pleasing can manifest in many ways. Do you find yourself constantly seeking approval from others? Do you apologize excessively, even for things that aren't your fault? Do you avoid conflict at all costs, even when it means suppressing your own needs or opinions? These are all potential indicators of people-pleasing tendencies. But where does this behavior come from? To understand its roots, we need to delve into theories of self-worth and attachment. Often, people-pleasing patterns develop in childhood. Perhaps you learned that being good and accommodating was the best way to receive love and approval from your caregivers. Or maybe you took on the role of peacemaker in a tumultuous family environment. These early experiences can shape our beliefs about our self-worth and our expectations in relationships. We might internalize the idea that our value is dependent on what we do for others, rather than who we inherently are. This can lead to a persistent fear of rejection or abandonment if we don't meet others' expectations. The impact of people-pleasing can be far-reaching and profound. Emotional exhaustion is a common consequence. When you're constantly putting others' needs before your own, you're likely to experience burnout. The stress and anxiety of trying to keep everyone happy can be overwhelming, leaving you feeling drained and depleted. Perhaps even more insidious is the gradual loss of identity that can occur. When you're always molding yourself to be what others want or expect, you can lose touch with your own needs, desires, and even your sense of self. You might find yourself wondering, who am I when I'm not taking care of everyone else? Resentment is another common byproduct of chronic people-pleasing. Despite your best efforts to make others happy, you might find yourself feeling unappreciated or taken for granted. This resentment can take a toll on your relationships, creating a cycle of frustration and disappointment. So how do we break free from this cycle? The first step is challenging the limiting beliefs that fuel people-pleasing behavior. These might include thoughts like, I'm only valuable if I'm helpful to others, or if I say no, people won't like me. Identifying these negative thought patterns is the first step in reframing them. Setting personal priorities is another crucial aspect of overcoming people-pleasing. This involves getting clear on what truly matters to you, your values, goals, and needs. Once you've identified these priorities, you can start allocating your time and energy accordingly, rather than constantly reacting to others' demands. One of the most challenging aspects of this journey is learning to accept discomfort. People-pleasing often stems from a fear of disapproval or conflict. Building tolerance for others' potentially negative reactions is key to maintaining your boundaries and staying true to yourself. Developing a strong sense of self-worth is at the heart of overcoming people-pleasing. This involves cultivating self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you so readily offer others. Practice forgiving yourself for mistakes and acknowledging that you're worthy of love and respect, regardless of what you do for others. Affirmations and positive self-talk can be powerful tools in reinforcing positive beliefs about yourself. Simple statements like, "I am worthy of respect," or "My needs are important," can help counteract negative self-talk. Make these affirmations a daily practice, perhaps incorporating them into your morning routine or writing them in a journal. Celebrating your personal achievements, no matter how small, is another way to build self-worth. Take time to acknowledge your successes and reward yourself appropriately. This helps reinforce the idea that your worth comes from within, not from external validation. As you work on developing your self-worth, it's important to also focus on cultivating mutual respect in your relationships. This involves shifting from codependent patterns to more interdependent relationships. Encourage equality and reciprocity in your interactions, where both parties support each other's growth and well-being. Open communication is key in this process. Practice sharing your feelings and needs honestly, even when it feels uncomfortable. At the same time, work on listening actively to others, creating a balanced exchange of thoughts and emotions. One of the most powerful strategies in overcoming people-pleasing is learning to say yes to yourself. This means allocating time for your personal needs and protecting that time fiercely. Schedule self-care activities and treat them with the same importance you would a work commitment or a promise to a friend. Pursuing your own interests and goals is another way of saying yes to yourself. Set personal objectives that align with your values and aspirations. Take concrete steps towards your dreams, even if they're small at first. Remember, every journey begins with a single step. To reinforce these new habits and mindsets, consider engaging in some practical exercises. Keeping a journal of situations that trigger your people-pleasing tendencies can help you identify patterns and prepare for challenging scenarios. Cognitive restructuring is a powerful technique for challenging and reframing negative thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking in people-pleasing ways, pause and question that thought. Is it really true? What evidence do you have for and against it? What would you say to a friend who had this thought? Creating a personalized self-care routine can help ensure you're consistently prioritizing your own needs. This might include activities that nourish you physically, emotionally, and mentally. Remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary for your well-being and allows you to show up more fully in your relationships. As you embark on this journey of overcoming people-pleasing, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be simply becoming aware of your people-pleasing tendencies and taking initial steps to prioritize yourself. This awareness alone can be transformative, opening your eyes to patterns you might not have noticed before. An excellent outcome would involve consistently advocating for yourself and significantly reducing people-pleasing behaviors. You might find yourself able to say no without guilt, express your needs clearly, and maintain healthy boundaries in your relationships. The best possible outcome is developing a strong sense of self-worth that leads to healthier, more balanced relationships across all areas of your life. In this scenario, you're able to be authentically yourself while still maintaining caring connections with others. Of course, the path to overcoming people-pleasing isn't always smooth. You might find yourself relapsing into old habits, especially in stressful situations or with people who are used to your accommodating behavior. When this happens, be gentle with yourself. Establish accountability systems or reach out to supportive friends who can remind you of your goals. You might also face resistance from others as you change your behavior. Some people may be uncomfortable with your newfound assertiveness, especially if they've grown accustomed to your people-pleasing tendencies. Clear communication about your changes and setting new expectations can help navigate these challenges. Internal struggles with self-worth may persist as you work to overcome people-pleasing. This is normal and to be expected. Continue practicing self-compassion and don't hesitate to seek professional help if you find yourself consistently struggling. As we conclude this exploration of overcoming people-pleasing, you might feel a mix of excitement and apprehension. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself as you unlearn old patterns and establish new, healthier ones. By working to overcome people-pleasing, you're not just changing a behavior, you're reclaiming your authentic self. You're creating space for genuine connections, personal growth, and a life that aligns with your true values and desires. But as you become more adept at setting boundaries and prioritizing your own needs, you might find yourself facing a new challenge. What happens when those boundaries are tested not by acquaintances or colleagues, but by the people closest to you? In the next chapter, we'll delve into the delicate art of maintaining boundaries with family, partners, and close friends. Are you ready to discover how to honor your needs while preserving your most important relationships? Chapter 8, Close Connections. Have you ever felt a twinge of guilt when saying no to a family member? Or perhaps you've struggled to express your needs to a romantic partner, fearing it might damage your relationship? If so, you're not alone. The realm of close connections, our relationships with family, partners, and close friends, is often where our boundaries face their toughest tests. These intimate relationships, the very ones that bring us joy, support, and a sense of belonging, can also be the source of our greatest boundary challenges. It's in these close connections that our emotions run deepest, our vulnerabilities are most exposed, and the stakes feel highest. Yet it's precisely in these relationships that clear, healthy boundaries are most crucial. As we embark on this exploration of boundaries in close connections, we'll uncover the unique challenges these relationships present and discover strategies to navigate them with grace and authenticity. This isn't about building walls or pushing loved ones away. Instead, it's about creating a framework for deeper, more genuine connections. Ones where both parties feel respected, understood, and free to be their authentic selves. But why is setting boundaries in close relationships so important? At its core, this practice ensures your personal well-being, even in your most intimate connections. It allows you to maintain a sense of self, to honor your own needs and values, even as you engage deeply with those closest to you. Moreover, clear boundaries promote mutual respect and understanding. They create a foundation of trust and open communication that can strengthen your relationships over time. Perhaps most importantly, setting boundaries in close relationships prevents the buildup of resentment and conflict. When we consistently suppress our own needs or allow our boundaries to be crossed in the name of keeping the peace, we often end up harboring negative feelings that can erode the very connections we're trying to preserve. To truly understand the dynamics at play in our close relationships, we need to delve into family systems theory and interpersonal relationship theories. These frameworks help us understand how families and close relationships function as interconnected systems, where each member's actions and behaviors influence the others. They shed light on why changing our own behavior or setting new boundaries can often lead to resistance or pushback from our loved ones. The balance theory, in particular, offers valuable insights into why maintaining boundaries in close relationships can be so challenging. This theory suggests that relationships naturally seek equilibrium. When one person changes their behavior, for instance by setting new boundaries, it disrupts this balance, often leading to resistance as the system tries to return to its previous state. One of the unique challenges in setting boundaries with close connections is the intensity of emotional ties and expectations. These relationships often come with a set of unspoken rules and norms that have developed over time. Breaking these implicit agreements by setting new boundaries can feel like a violation of trust, even when it's necessary for your well-being. The fear of hurting loved ones is another significant obstacle. We often anticipate negative reactions to our boundary setting, imagining scenarios where our loved ones feel rejected or unloved. This fear can paralyze us, keeping us locked in patterns that don't serve our well-being. The key is learning to balance honesty with compassion, expressing our needs clearly while also acknowledging the other person's feelings. When it comes to setting boundaries with family, navigating complex family dynamics can be particularly challenging. Each family has its own unique system of roles and expectations. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for effective boundary setting. Are you the peacemaker in your family? The responsible one? Recognizing your role can help you anticipate potential resistance and prepare for it. Dealing with parental expectations often presents a unique set of challenges. As we grow into adulthood, the parent-child relationship needs to evolve, but this transition isn't always smooth. Learning to respect and honor our parents while asserting our independence is a delicate balance. The key is to shift the communication dynamic from parent-child to adult-adult, expressing your needs and boundaries with respect and clarity. Sibling relationships, too, come with their own set of boundary challenges. Childhood dynamics of competition or comparison can persist into adulthood, complicating boundary-setting efforts. The goal is to foster supportive connections while still maintaining your individual identity and boundaries. In romantic partnerships, maintaining individuality while nurturing the relationship is a crucial aspect of boundary setting. It's important to continue pursuing personal interests and encouraging your partner to do the same. This not only preserves your sense of self, but also brings fresh energy and experiences into the relationship. Regular communication about needs and desires is vital in romantic relationships. Scheduling regular check-ins to discuss boundaries, expectations, and any issues that arise can prevent misunderstandings and resentment from building up. When conflicts do arise, approach them as a team, seeking compromises that respect both partners' boundaries. Jealousy and possessiveness can be significant boundary issues in romantic relationships. Recognizing these behaviors as unhealthy and setting clear expectations around trust and individual freedom is crucial for maintaining a healthy partnership. In friendships, the challenge often lies in balancing support with self-care. It's natural to want to be there for our friends, but it's equally important to recognize when a friendship becomes one-sided or starts to drain your energy. Learning to be supportive without sacrificing your own well-being is a key boundary skill in friendships. When unhealthy behaviors arise in friendships, addressing them respectfully but firmly is important. This might involve having difficult conversations, or in some cases, deciding to create distance in the relationship. Remember, it's okay to prioritize your well-being, even if it means stepping back from a friendship that no longer serves you. So how do we actually go about asserting boundaries in these close relationships? One effective technique is to engage in honest and open dialogues. Choose the right time and place for these conversations, ideally when both parties are calm and have time to talk without interruptions. Use non-confrontational language, focusing on I statements that express your feelings and needs rather than blaming or accusing. Establishing mutual agreements can be a powerful way to set boundaries. This involves working together to set shared expectations about your relationship. In some cases, especially with family members or roommates, it might be helpful to document these agreements to avoid misunderstandings later. Respecting each other's space is another crucial aspect of boundary setting in close relationships. This means understanding and honoring the need for solitude and individual pursuits. Encourage personal growth in yourself and your loved ones, recognizing that time apart can actually strengthen your connection. Throughout this process of setting and maintaining boundaries, it's crucial to preserve your own well-being. Develop a robust self-care practice that addresses your physical, emotional, and mental health needs. Learn to recognize signs of imbalance in yourself. Increased irritability, fatigue, or anxiety might indicate that your boundaries are being stretched too thin. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we might need additional support in navigating boundary issues in close relationships. Recognizing when to seek professional help is an important skill. Therapy or counseling can provide valuable tools and insights for managing complex relationship dynamics. Support groups can also offer a sense of community and shared experience as you work on setting healthier boundaries. To reinforce these concepts, consider engaging in some practical exercises. Communication role plays with trusted friends or family members can help you practice difficult conversations in a safe environment. Create specific boundary setting plans for your various close relationships, outlining steps you'll take to assert and maintain your boundaries. Regular emotional self-check-ins can help you monitor how you're feeling before and after interactions with loved ones. This awareness can help you identify when your boundaries are being respected and when they might need reinforcement. As you embark on this journey of setting boundaries in close relationships, it's helpful to consider potential outcomes. A good initial outcome might be simply initiating boundary discussions with your loved ones. Even if these conversations are challenging, opening up the dialogue is a significant step. An excellent outcome would involve successfully setting and maintaining boundaries in your close relationships. You might find yourself able to express your needs clearly, say no when necessary, and feel more respected in your interactions. The best possible outcome is enhanced relationships based on mutual respect and understanding. In this scenario, your boundaries are not just tolerated, but valued by your loved ones, leading to deeper, more authentic connections. Of course, the path to healthy boundaries in close relationships isn't always smooth. You might face resistance or negative reactions from loved ones who are used to old patterns. Patience and continued open communication are key in these situations. Remember, it often takes time for others to adjust to new boundaries. You might also experience emotional strain or guilt as you assert your boundaries. This is normal and to be expected. Continue practicing self-care and don't hesitate to seek support or counseling if needed. Consistently enforcing boundaries can be challenging, especially with those closest to us. In moments of weakness, remind yourself of why these boundaries are important. Seek support from friends or professionals who understand and respect your boundary-setting journey. As we conclude this exploration of boundaries in close connections, you might feel a mix of determination and apprehension. Remember, setting boundaries with loved ones is an act of love, both for yourself and for the relationship. It creates the space for more genuine, respectful, and fulfilling connections. But as you navigate these intimate waters of close relationships, a new horizon comes into view. What lies beyond the realm of personal relationships? How do the boundaries we've explored translate into the broader context of your life? In the next chapter, we'll step back and take a panoramic view of your boundary-setting journey. Are you ready to discover the limitless possibilities that await when you fully embrace your power to choose, to say no, and to honor your authentic self? Chapter 9, Endless Possibilities. As we reach the final chapter of our journey together, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. From understanding the power of choice to mastering the art of saying no, from managing guilt trips to setting boundaries in your closest relationships, you've acquired a powerful set of tools for living authentically and on your own terms. But this isn't the end of your journey. It's just the beginning. Welcome to the world of endless possibilities. The skills and insights you've gained throughout this book are not just isolated techniques. They're the building blocks of a transformed life. You've unlocked a new level of self-awareness and autonomy that will ripple through every aspect of your existence. The confidence you've developed in setting and enforcing boundaries will serve as a foundation for all your future interactions and decisions. Think about it. You now have the ability to make choices that truly align with your personal values. No longer will you be swayed by the expectations of others or the fear of disapproval. You're equipped to navigate life's challenges with a clear sense of who you are and what you stand for. But the impact of your journey extends far beyond your individual growth. The boundaries you've learned to set and maintain will revolutionize your relationships. You're now capable of building healthier, more respectful connections with others. The increased mutual understanding and trust that come from clear communication and respected boundaries will deepen your existing relationships and set the stage for meaningful new ones. Conflicts and misunderstandings, once a source of stress and anxiety, will become less frequent and easier to navigate. You'll approach disagreements with confidence, armed with the tools to express your needs clearly and respectfully, while also listening to and acknowledging the needs of others. Consider for a moment what you'll be able to achieve now that you couldn't before. You can pursue your personal goals without the weight of guilt holding you back. Your emotional well-being will remain steady even in the face of life's inevitable challenges. You'll navigate relationships with a newfound confidence and clarity, knowing that you can honor both your own needs and the needs of others. As you continue to practice the concepts you've learned, you'll find that maintaining healthy boundaries becomes easier and more natural. What once required conscious effort will become second nature. Your communication skills will sharpen, decision-making will become more intuitive, and you'll find yourself on a path of ongoing personal growth that leads towards self-actualization. This journey of self-discovery is a continuous one. Embrace the fact that you are constantly evolving, changing, and growing. Each day brings new opportunities to apply your boundary-setting skills, to make choices aligned with your values, and to live more authentically. Living authentically means ensuring consistency between your beliefs and your behaviors. It means having the courage to be yourself, even in the face of societal pressures or others' expectations. As you continue to align your actions with your values, you'll find a deep sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from living true to yourself. The principles of humanistic psychology, which emphasize the inherent drive towards self-actualization, align beautifully with the journey you've undertaken. Self-actualization isn't a destination, but a process of continually realizing your fullest potential. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not by striving to meet external standards, but by fully embracing and expressing your unique qualities and strengths. As you cultivate greater autonomy, you'll find yourself making more independent decisions, trusting your own judgment rather than seeking constant approval from others. You'll learn to listen to and trust your inner voice, developing a strong sense of intuition that guides you towards choices that are right for you. Looking ahead, the future is bright with possibility. Set goals that excite and inspire you, both for the short term and the long term. Engage in vision planning exercises to clarify what you want to achieve and who you want to become. Remember, with your newfound skills and self-awareness, you're better equipped than ever to pursue your dreams and overcome obstacles. As you continue on this path, take time to celebrate your progress. Recognize how far you've come and practice gratitude for the growth you've experienced. Your journey can also be an inspiration to others. Share your knowledge and experiences, and consider building or joining a community of like-minded individuals who support each other in maintaining healthy boundaries and living authentically. Now let's talk about the profound transformation that awaits you as you fully integrate these principles into your life. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. Picture yourself navigating life's challenges with grace and confidence, your self-worth unshaken by external pressures or others' opinions. Envision your relationships transformed by mutual respect and understanding. See yourself surrounded by people who value your boundaries, who appreciate your authentic self, and who inspire you to grow. Imagine the freedom of pursuing your passions without guilt or fear of judgment, the joy of making decisions that truly resonate with your values. Consider the ripple effect of your transformation. As you live more authentically, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage in setting boundaries inspires those around you to honor their own needs and values. You become a catalyst for positive change in your family, your workplace, your community. The skills you've developed are not just for managing difficult situations. They're the keys to unlocking a life of deep fulfillment and purpose. By honoring your boundaries and living authentically, you create space for true joy, creativity, and self-expression. You open yourself up to experiences and opportunities that align with your deepest desires and highest potential. Remember, the journey you've embarked on is not about becoming a different person, but about becoming more fully yourself. It's about peeling away the layers of societal expectations, self-doubt, and people-pleasing to reveal the brilliant, unique individual you truly are. As you close this book, know that you carry within you the power to shape your life according to your own vision. You have the tools to create respectful, fulfilling relationships, to pursue your dreams with confidence, and to navigate life's challenges with resilience and grace. The path ahead is yours to define. Embrace your power to choose, to say no, to set boundaries, and to live authentically. The possibilities are truly endless. Your journey of self-discovery and growth continues, richer and more rewarding than ever before. Step forward into your new life with confidence, knowing that you are equipped to create a future that honors your true self. The world is waiting for the unique gifts that only you can offer. Embrace your journey, celebrate your growth, and always remember, the power to live an authentic, fulfilling life has been within you all along. Now, armed with the tools and insights from this book, you're ready to fully embrace that power and create the life you've always dreamed of. Your journey of endless possibilities begins now. The next chapter of your life awaits, and it's going to be extraordinary. As you step into this new phase, you might find yourself facing complex decisions or challenging situations that test your newfound boundaries. In these moments, the ability to think critically while maintaining your composure becomes crucial. But how can you ensure that your decision-making aligns with your authentic self, especially when the stakes are high? The answer lies in mastering a skill that complements and enhances everything you've learned about setting boundaries. Discover how to navigate life's toughest challenges with clarity and confidence in the audiobook Stay Calm, Think Smart, The Art of Critical Thinking in Difficult Situations. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.